TIFU being on my period and getting drunk. So like the title said, I cheesecake up. It was after midnight, so technically today, by having my period and getting drunk. If you're one of those guys who nearly faints when someone mentions the word period, this post ain't for you. It will banana up your life. My son's birthday was yesterday, so I've been running around all day catering everybody and making sure the kids don't break anything / each other. Somewhere around noon I noticed my period got heavy and I put in a tampon, and went back to my guests. Around 7 o'clock everyone left except my husband's best friend. I put the kids to bed and started to relax. I've had a wine or two during the day, and now with my kids in bed I treated myself to a glass of wine, and during the evening my husband and I got pretty wasted, which for me was kinda easy cause I hadn't had a drink in like 2 weeks. Around 11 my husband went to bed because he got tired and pretty bored with me and his friend because we were talking about games, watching trailers, that kind of stuff. And since I've got no gamer friends I had a good time, getting drunker by the minute. Around 00:30 husband's friend decides to go home. This is where my FU begins. I was pretty drunk, and drunk me thought sexy time with husband was a good idea, cause let's face it, drunk sexy time is the best sexy time. But then I realized I still had my tampon in, so I had to get it out, also because it's dangerous to have it in for as long as I unknowingly had, but most because of my desired sexy time. I went to the toilet, ready to pull it out, when I realized I couldn't find it, or the string. After some fumbling around I could feel a little bit of the string, all the way tucked in. I spent about 15 minutes grabbing the string, trying to pull it out, only to feel like it was stuck, and I couldn't get a good grip at it. I was getting annoyed at this point. Cheesecake myself on the toilet in search of the lost tampon wasn't the kind of sexy time I had in mind. I decided to call the HAP. I live in Holland. Here we don't go to the ER for everything, we go to out-homey doctor for small things like a cold, bump on the head, vaccinations, deep cut and so on. But outside working hours there is the HAP, which is like the on-duty doctor / nurse for like 50 doctors in the area. Trying to sound kinda sober I explained the nurse my problem. She was kind but firm. If I didn't get the zucchini out in an hour, I had to come by and they would extract it. If I would wait till morning I would have it in for 20 hours and that is dangerous. That would mean I would have to wake up my husband not for sexy time but for I banana up time, and we would have to get the kids out of bed. I wasn't gonna let that happen, primarily because I'm the hilarious one in our relationship, and I wasn't ready to hear "yo banana so big, tampons get lost" jokes for the rest of my life. So before this moment I was a woman on a mission, now I was Frodo trying to get this tampon out of Sauron's grip. Nurse mentioned trying to squat or take a relaxing shower. So here I was squatting in the shower with my hand in the depths of Erebor. Still not getting good enough grip. So I take the shower head, put the water stream on 10 and try to flush this white torpedo out. Guess what? Didn't work. This goes on like 15 minutes, time is getting scarce. Decide to lean against the wall squatting, and I finally have the string between the tips of my thumb and index finger. I am not letting go now. While I pull gently I push like I'm in labor, and what do you think? I finally pulled the banana out. I felt ecstatic, leaned against the wall again in relief, feeling proud about my victory. Sexy time, here I come. Before I leave to shower I decide to take a closer look at the cheesecake, wondering why it took longer for me to give birth to this annoying bugger than with my youngest son. Look at it, lying in the corner, and my mind goes blank for a minute. Then I scream. I would have flipped out more if it was the wormy thing from Alien. Then the realization kicked in. I pulled out my banana IUD. Insert drunken hyperventilation. OMG, I pulled out my IUD. It was just lying there in the corner like some aborted metal fish, or cold bloody and gross. If you think my FU ends here, think again. Keep in mind it's around 2/3 o'clock now. In my panic I decide to call my mom. Waking up husband isn't necessary anymore cause sexy time is off the table. My father answers the phone all sleepy, and I ask for my mom. Well, sweaty, we were sleeping, whatever it is, I can help you, no need to wake your mother. Okay. I wanted to have sexy time with husband but him having my period I too couldn't get my tampon out but now it pulled out my help. Daddy, wake up, your daughter needs you. So now I explained to my mother what happened and she managed to calm me down, and said I needed to call NAHAP again. So I did, got the same nurse, explained what happened. She consulted with her colleague, and asked me some additional questions to find out if I'm okay. Mom, are you shivering? Yes I am. Can you describe how bad? Well, I was in the shower, and now I'm standing in my bathroom all naked and wet for like 15 minutes now, so I'm getting kinda cold. Okay, that's a good explanation. Are you dizzy, Mom? Yes, I am dizzy. Can you describe how dizzy? Well, I drank like a bottle of wine, that's how dizzy I am. Muffled laughter on the other end of the phone. Well, I guess that's okay also then. Are you bleeding down there? Yes, I am. Okay, sweetie, how bad is it? Well, I'm heaving my period, that is how bad it is. Oh yeah, I forgot, so that is normal also then. She suggested to go to bed, and if I felt worse I could stop by. The fact that I pulled out my IUD wasn't so different than when I would get it removed by a nurse. Alto, she taught that would have happened more gently. No zucchini Sherlock. There is still the mystery of the lost tampon. I think drunk me pulled it out earlier at night, but I have no clue. So for not letting go drunken sexy time, I'm now not gonna have sexy time for a few weeks till I get a new IUD. And because I didn't want to hear yo zucchini so big jokes, now I'm gonna hear remember when you got so drunk and zucchini you pulled out your IUD jokes forever. Not to mention my parents now know I like drunken sexy time. So yeah, I banana up today. TL, drive. Today I coconut up being on my period, getting drunk, and wanting sexy time. Mistake my IUD for my tampon, ripped it out after a 2-hour struggle, and woke up my parents to tell them I zucchini up because I wanted to have drunken sexy time with husband. I did not get sexy time, nor will I get it for a few weeks. Edit. Wow, this really blew up after I went to sleep. Glad to see my drunken efforts brought so much laughter. And it's kinda nice to see all the shocked reactions, makes me feel a little less dumb for calling for my mommy in the middle of the night. Some additional info as requested. A IUD is a form of birth control. It's like a 2 centimeters big T-shaped metal thingy which is placed in your uterus. On the bottom of the T is a little string that sticks out your uterus all the way up your butternut, so that they can remove it. No, thank God it didn't hurt. Don't know if that was the whine of the fact that I gave birth to 2 kids. Yes, my fun zone is, apart from some trust issues, okay. Yes, I'm full aware now that I didn't have to tell my parents I wanted sexy time, but drunken and horrified me couldn't care less at that moment. I'm 32-year-old grown-up mother of 2, and yes, I called for my mommy. I could have asked husband to remove the lost tampon, but I figured after that sexy time wouldn't be an option for him, and since that was the goal I didn't ask him. Thank God. Cause this would have scarred him for life. As for the lost tampon, I have no idea, I must have drunkenly removed it earlier. Else it still dwells in the depths of Erebor. Thanks for all the support, shocked reactions, compliments, laughter, silver, gold and platinum. This made my FU a little less embarrassing. Stupid question, what happened to the actual tampon? This is a question for the BuzzFeed Unsolved guys. My coconut just folded in on itself. Although I must say it was a great story. I gasped and put my hand over my mouth when you said you pulled out your IUD. Oh no, I physically cringed. The thought of ripping out an IUD with my bare hands. Yeah, I'm still a little bit in shock, skeptical. This is the only thing that I have ever read in my life that has made me gasp and jump out of bed in horror. Holy banana. I can't even imagine how painful and scary that must have been. Thank God you were drunk. This is fantastic, as a story, poor you. Honestly, I'm mainly impressed you managed to get your IUD out. I thought at first it got stuck on your tampon somehow and you ripped it out that way. Can't even imagine the sheer panic you must have had throughout. I'm gonna hear this story at parties for a long time, but I must admit it is kinda funny. I had no idea it was possible to rip it out. I'm glad I didn't damage anything. TIFU by almost having a coconut with my cousin and his husband. Didn't happen today, on mobile, throwaway account etc. My job requires me to travel a lot between the USA and Canada. I have a 50-50 client split between the two places, so although I am based in Los Angeles, I fly into Toronto every few weeks. All of my family and friends are also in LA, and I'm from a very conservative background, so when I realized at about age 12 that the thought of both girls and boys made me want to fiddle with my diddle, I kept the latter quiet to avoid being disowned by my father or giving my mom a heart attack. I've had plenty of girlfriends before and they're happy. I'm happy and there's no need to change that. Anyway, I headed out to Toronto last Friday morning for a few meetings. Every now and then, I'll have meetings Friday and Monday, so I'll stay the weekend and have a little bit of a holiday in a nice hotel somewhere. At about 4 p.m. on Friday, I had finished my work, checked into my hotel and was feeling a bit butternut. Anyone in the bi community will know it's easier to pick up guys than girls, so I downloaded Grindr, created an account, uploaded a few pictures, without my face, half because I'm ugly and half because I don't want to be recognized, and did some browsing. Some 20-ish minutes in, I got a message. This guy was about my age, didn't have a picture, but gave me a description of himself and he sounded like a good way to spend my Friday night. We start to make a plan for 7 p.m. and he mentions he's married and asks if I'd be interested in his husband coming along and having a little coconut action. Now butternut wasn't on my to-do list, but I'll give anything a go once, so I said what the hell. Anyways, it comes around to 6:30 p.m. and I get a call. I have 2 SIM cards in my phone, one from Canada and one from the USA. It's my cousin who lives in Canada. I only speak to this guy probably 2 to 3 times a year, so it's a little weird, but not any cause for concern or anything, and I was a bit busy at the time with some prep, so I let it go to VM. 60 seconds later, a text from my cousin. Hi, it's XXXXX from Grindr. We're 2 minutes away. Okay if we're a bit early? It took me about 30 seconds, but it clicks. Canada. Coconut married cousin. Description matches. Holy butternut butternut, I just organized a butternut with my cousin. I sat there in the bathroom, trying not to have a panic attack for a few minutes until my phone rings again. Now obviously I'm not going to answer it, and I'm just praising God that I gave him my Canadian number over Grindr that he didn't have, and that I had him saved in my phone. The room phone begins to ring as well. Holy coconut. I swear to God, I have never put on clothes so fast and bolted down 30 floors of stairs so fast. At the bottom of the staircase, I was straight through that fire door and hid in the nearest McDonald's for the next 4 hours. 14 missed calls, 10 from my cousin, 4 from hotel reception, and I took the SIM card out of my phone and snapped it in half. Found a new hotel room that night just in case. Have to come up with an excuse for work and my clients as to why I need a new Canadian number, but I think it was better than the other option. TL, doctor went to Canada for work, wanted a quick hookup, didn't do my due diligence and almost ended up having a butternut with my butternut cousin and his husband, ran away and hid in a McDonald's for 4 hours. I think the extra precaution of snapping the SIM card in half was unnecessary but butternut hilarious. No one must know. I'm writing this TIFU from the smoldering ruins of the McDonald's I burned down to cover my tracks. Before anyone asks, why not just explain to him what's up instead of going through all this effort to dodge/ghost? Don't forget, Op doesn't want anyone in the family to know he's bi. Even though the cousin would be cool with it, most likely, some butternut people are weird about that, it would still present another source for the information to accidentally get out. You could still just text, hey dude, something came up and I can't meet. Also, there is so much identifying information in this post that now everyone in his family will know that he's bi. Wouldn't you have your name in your voicemail message if it was a business number? Asking the real questions here, plus the reception have his name as well. Although I'm not sure if they would hand it out. Cheesecake men in Toronto, tens of thousands. Married butternut men into with cousins in LA, dozens. Married zucchini men in Toronto with cousins in LA who tried to set up a spicy 3-way last weekend and called the stranger 10 times after being stood up. My money says 1. Your cousin finding this thread and making sneaky candid comments at the next family gathering, priceless. Edit, obligatory thanks for making my top comment about avoiding an incestual coconut. Can't wait to call my mom and share the news. Having switched up all the locations, 4D chess. I love how he goes nuclear and snaps his SIM card. Not being out to your family makes you do some butternut. TIFU by not wearing a bra. Today was a lounging, do-nothing day. I, 22, watched some Netflix in the living room while my brother, 24, played games in his room and my older brother, 27, had work. The evening came, my brother came home from work and went to talk with my other brother in his room. My mom called to ask what ingredients we had around the house so she can pick up stuff for dinner. An hour later she called to let me know she'll be home soon and my brothers and I have to dispute who has to help her bring groceries in. I went to my brothers. Hey, you two have to pick which one of you have to help mom bring groceries in. She'll be home in 5 minutes. Walked away like I was so clever, not including myself as an option. Why doesn't she help? I hear one say to the other, I don't know. The other says. A few minutes pass and the two of them came out of the room and approached me on the couch. You grab the arms, I'll grab the legs. Yup. My older brother grabbed my ankles and the other my arms. I made it a little difficult though. I stiffened, which is probably easier, and I crossed my arms holding my elbows close to my torso so he didn't have anywhere to hold except a poor grip on my shoulders. Being the weak noodle I am, I couldn't hold my arms in long enough. He grabbed my upper arms and they carried me toward the stairs to the front door. I half expected they wouldn't bring me outside, but I knew they would go all the way even when I had no jacket or shoes. I didn't want to be carried awkwardly down the stairs, so as we got closer, I struggled. I kicked my legs with little effort because I didn't want to hurt anyone, and since that didn't really work I had an idea. Risky. I lifted my arms straight up so my brother's hands would lose grip and drop me. I dropped slowly since he was still trying to hold me with my arms up. I was wearing a long sleeve bunched at my elbows, but as I hit the floor I realized my shirt had lifted. My sleeves must have been pulled off my arms, lifting the rest. It was over. My ankles were released. I put my now freed hands down over my chest and feel my zucchini. Yup. The brother by my feet definitely saw. I noticed he was looking away at the moment, but I was sure he saw when it happened. Thankfully I am small-chested, so I'm not as embarrassed as someone else would be. But it is still awkward to think about. P.S. Sorry bro. TLDR, decided not to wear a bra today. My brother saw my banana. I was home for the holidays from college, moving into a new place with my fiance this May. My brothers help support our single mom. Stop assuming people are fuck-ups. Thumbs up. Why do people assume so many negative things? Lamau probably will delete this post within a few days. It's obvious, with my previous edits, that most of you don't read before commenting. I also don't know how this got so many upvotes, but here I am. Till that /that happened exists. #ReadyNoob. Thanks for front paging my first post, for the awards, and for the rare positive comments. Please remember rule 4. There's no reason to be mean. But who brought in groceries? My brothers did, but they put the groceries on me when I was on the couch. Lol. Is there an increasing scale of embarrassingness with cheesecake size? I'm sure Dimitri Martin has a graph chart for this. Hey, your sister's hot. Yeah, I've seen her boob. Not even cheesecake, just coconut. That was a power move. Embarrassing, but still powerful. That's my fucking butternut.